Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. I remember a few years into my marriage, we were having some issues because a lot of the things my husband did, it seemed as if it was anti what I was going for, like he was going against me and not for me. Sometimes he would do and say things that really hurt my feelings. And I remember a couple of years into my marriage, he started telling me, if it comes out wrong, if I say it wrong, or if I did something that looks wrong, he would say, don't get mad. He says, wait and hear me out. Let me explain. He said, look at my intention. If I might not have did it right, I might not have said it right, but know that I love you and I'm never trying to hurt you. My intention is always to love you and to do good by you. Even if it looks wrong, look at my intention. I had to start hearing him when he said that. He would tell me that a lot, and I would really try to listen to what he said and try to implement that. Try not to get mad when I heard or seen something immediately off the bat, but give him a chance to explain what his heart was. And eventually I started learning how to look and see things from his side, to see what he was trying to do for me, even if it didn't come out right, even if it hurt. And it took away a lot of the pain for me because I knew where his heart was. So here we are 20 something years later, right? And things still happen at times. And I don't usually get upset about it. Even if I don't understand it at the time, I always allow him to explain himself. I don't have to call him as soon as something happened. I can wait on it because I know that whatever it is, his intention was to love me. I might not understand what I'm seeing. I might not have understood what I heard, but I'm going to give him a chance to explain it. And even if he explains it and it seems backwards to me and I might not understand it, I try to look at it from his eyes because I know that whatever my husband does, it's to love on me. Whether it comes out right or comes out wrong, it's okay. His intention is to love me. So that's what we're going to talk about, intention. You go, now how does that play a role in your health? Let me tell you, in my health, it plays a big role. And I want to share with you what I've learned about intention and how it works for me and how it can help you possibly. Now you do what you want to do with it, right? But I'm just sharing with you something that I've learned that has helped me over the years to live a good life, to be thriving and flourishing in the midst of health issues. Well, in yoga, I don't know if you do yoga or not. Yoga is pretty good. It helps in a lot of ways. But I do yoga. And one of the things they say, I'm going to Tammyize it, right? I'm going to me-ize it. I'm not going to say it in the person whose classes I take. I'm not going to tell you what she says exactly word for word, but I'm going to put it in my words. She basically says this: don't worry about if you can hit the form or hit the pose, right? It's not about being able to get that form or that shape perfectly. She says it's not about that. You may not be able to sit up straight in a pose or to bend and curve and move in a certain way. When I first started doing yoga, y'all, I couldn't even sit on the floor cross-legged. I had been bedridden so long that my body had stiffened up and I didn't have no flexibility or mobility. Now I can, right? I can do a lot of the poses, but there's still a lot that challenge me for various reasons. But she says it's not about hitting the pose. It's not about hitting that shape, right? It's about the intent. Right? So she says, even if you got to sit up straight and lean forward, if you can barely move and it don't even look like you sitting up straight, do the best that you can. It's the intent of trying to hit that pose and nail that pose. And she says, as you continue to do it and hit that intent, eventually you'll find yourself more flexible and be able to nail that pose, right? Nail that shape. I have found that to be true in my time of doing yoga. There's a lot of shapes that I can hit now that I used to couldn't hit. And there's a lot that still challenge me for various reasons, right? So intent is really important. Now, I'm not talking about intent where I'm fixing to And you see people who always fixing to do something, but they ain't never getting it done. You know, it's 20 years later, you still fixing to do something and you ain't put no action to it. So for our purposes, intent, we're talking about a leaning towards, a mindset towards, a focus on, and the corresponding action that goes with it. If there never is an action, then for me, we're not talking about that. That's more fixing to, okay? But when you're talking about the action may not be every day. The action may be a couple months you ain't did nothing on it, right? There may be a long time that you may not do anything on it. I intended to do a lot that I couldn't do while I was bedridden, but my mindset was towards it. I was thinking about it. I was learning about it. I was in my mind moving towards it and doing what I could towards that thing within the realms and the scope that I had capability to do. Was it how I saw that I wanted to do it in my mind? No, but I had to do it from the bed, being bedridden, being in a bad situation, right? Mentally, physically, emotionally, but still trying to move in that realm, move in that area with the limitations that I had. I still did what I could do, even though it was not the full-blown picture, but I did what I could do within the realms and the scope that I could do it in. So I was leaning towards it. I had an intent towards it, and I had corresponding action within the realms and scopes in which I could have action for that, right? So I never consider myself to stop something and be like, oh, I got to start it all over again. If you ever played a sport, say you played basketball and you sprain your ankle, you're sitting on the bench, you had to sit out a few weeks and let your ankle heal. You didn't say, well, I used to be a basketball player. No, you still are a basketball player. You never stopped being a basketball player. You knew that as soon as that ankle healed up, you was back on the court, right? That's how I look at my life, and that's how I look at my health. Just because I'm not able to do something right now, I'm still going to do what I can within the realms of it. My mind is still on it. I'm still moving in that direction towards it in whichever way that I can. And if I can't do it for a little while, it's okay. I'm not done with it. I'm still on it. So when I get back to doing something, I'm not starting all over again. Even though that means sometimes I may have to step back and especially with exercise, right? If I was jogging at one point and had to take a couple of weeks off, I'm not going to just get up and just start jogging again. I may have to work myself up to where I once was. But I don't consider that starting over again, because in my mind, I've never left it. I've never stopped. And sometimes when you are in your mind breaking up things to where I quit or I stopped and I got to start back again, you're not going to really get the progression that you need. So in my mind, I never stop. I exercise. I know that there are going to be days out of the week where I don't know which days are going to be, but I know that there's days out of the week where it's going to be hard for me to do, or I may not be able to do at the intensity level that I wanted to do, or I may not be able to do it at all. I know that there are times throughout the years where I felt really good, but then I might have had a couple of weeks where I couldn't do much, or I might have even had a couple months where I couldn't do, or I was in a hospital or an injury happened. There are things that happen. Schedules get busy. So what I do is I plan. I'm going to exercise every day. The exercises I do, they vary. I got a whole arsenal of things that I can do depending upon where I'm at, how much time I have, what my strength level is. There are things that I can do, but I know in my mind I'm set to exercise every day. That means that if I'm tired one day, if things go wrong one day, it's okay, because I know that there's days in there that I'm not going to be able to exercise. But I say I'm going to exercise every day so that I know I'm hitting at least 3 to 4 days out of the week. And there are sometimes in some weeks, you guys, I'm only hitting it once or twice out of that week, but it's okay because I'm still exercising. But if I have in my mindset every day I'm getting up, I'm going to work out this day. Now, how I do that? Right now, I do it twice a day. I do it in the mornings and I do it in the evenings. And that's because I'm doing a lot of walking right now, and I need to do it because it's hot right now, and I need to do it when it's nice outside. But I find that some mornings I get up, you guys, and it's a rough morning. And it might take me a while to get going, right? Sometimes it can take me a little bit to get going, and then I can get my exercise. Other times it takes me a while, and it's noon, and now I got other things I got to do. So exercise is not happening in that morning. Sometimes I exercise in the morning and I'm planning on doing something in the nighttime, and by the end of the day, I'm pooped. I can't do anything. My body's tired. It's saying it ain't happening today. So that's why I do it like that. So that way I know that sometime in that day, oh, I'm gonna get some exercise in. You know, sometimes if I'm home all day and it's a slow morning, a rough morning, my body's not kicking in. When I feel that energy kick in, I'm gonna do what I can do. But in my whole arsenal, I know that if it's a day where I'm not all that strong and it's really hard for me, I'm not going to do anything high intensity. I'm going to do some real easy stretches, some real easy yoga, right? That's probably about as much as I'm going to do. There's other days where I can know that I can do something high level, high intensity, right? I like Tai Bo. I'll pull out some Tai Bo. I know it's old school, but Billy Blanks, he cool with me, right? But I might do that, or some other videos that I might do. Or I might do, what's her name? Leslie something. She got these little walk videos. That's a day where I'll do, you know, where you can walk a mile in 10 minutes or whatever. I may do a couple of those, or I may do one of those, because I know that I don't really have no high level intensity going on. I'm really tired, but I got enough where I can do a little bit of something, but I need to stay close to the house. It's not a good day for me to be trying to go outside the house, because then somebody might have to come pick me up on the side of the road, right? So I have a lot of different things that I do, but in my mind, if I'm injured, if something happens and I'm not able to do anything for a week, 2 weeks, or a couple months, I am not one who used to exercise. I'm still one who does. Because if I'm not doing anything but rolling my ankles or rolling my wrists, my mindset is towards it. I'm thinking about it. I know the first opportunity I can, I'm going to do what I could do on whatever level I have to do. If it's bed yoga, whatever it is, I'm going to do something. So you always want to have that leaning towards, that intention to do. Because when you have that intention to do, you're going to have that follow through. So don't get upset or disappointed with yourself if you find that you're not able to do something that you want to do, or the way in which you want to do it. But as long as you're intending to, it's on your mind, right? You're reading about it, you're staying updated with it, you're thinking about ways that you can improve upon it. You're doing what you can do within the scope and the realms that you're able to do it in. I knew when I got up from that bed, I wanted to clean my house and take care of my family and do all the womanly things, the domestic things, and serve my family. That brings me pleasure. It brings me joy to feed my family. I enjoy taking care of my family, but I'm still not able to do it at the level in which I once was able to do it, and that I really want to be able to do it. So, you know, every day I intend to cook, but some days I just can't do it, you know? And so I might have to orchestrate a meal, right? And give directions and oversee someone else, my children, cooking a meal. There are other times, right, when I remember being bedridden and couldn't really get up, and I'd have them put the little aisle on a TV tray, the wooden TV tray next to my bed, and plug it in, or electric skillet or pots or whatever, and I would have to cook right there, laying on my bed, on my side, doing like that. Because whatever level that I could do, I was going to do it. So I want you to have good intentions. I don't want you to be a fixing to person. I don't want you to be talking about what you're going to do, and then 10 years later, you still ain't did nothing about it. I want you to be a person that has a mind that is set, intending to do, leaning towards, right? And then the corresponding action that follow. And it's never that you stop. It's never that you quit. You're not a quitter. You're not a give up person. You're not an unable person. Sometimes there's times where things are happening and you don't have the ability to do it with the way that you want to do it. But as long as in your mindset you are leaning towards it, and you know the first chance you get you're going to get up and do whatever corresponding action within the limitations or within the realms and the scope in which you're able to do, then that intention is going to help you. Okay, so you're always continuing on. You're never stopping. You're never quitting, because that will stop your progression. Just the mindset of I stopped and I got to get started again makes it harder to even just to get started again. So in your mind, you're always progressing. Remember, you're always moving forward. I hope something in there was helpful for you. Remember, in all things, at all times, do you, be you. Until next time, bye.